In this video, you're going to learn the one thing that you can do to drastically improve your worship leading. It's super simple, super practical. It doesn't take a ton of time to learn. All you have to do is make the conscious effort to decide to implement it into your leading. Coming up. Hey everyone, Spencer here from leadingworshipwell.com, your daily dose of practical worship leading tips. If you want to find those tips, head over to Instagram or Facebook at Leading Worship Well, where I'm posting new worship leading tips every single day. So go connect with me there. I'd love to meet you on Instagram or Facebook, but you're here on YouTube, so go ahead, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future worship leader training videos just like this one. And let's get into it. Let's learn this one thing that we can implement into our worship leading that will drastically improve it. And like I said, it's super simple. Let's find out what it is, and it's simply this: opening your eyes, keeping your eyes open. Sounds pretty simple, right? And maybe you're thinking, okay, like my eyes are open when I'm leading worship. But I want you to seriously consider, if you haven't thought about this before, what percentage of time are your eyes open to the amount of time that they're closed? Because what I've realized from my own leading and from watching other worship leaders is that when we aren't thinking about it, the default is to close our eyes. And especially when we're first starting out, but it can leak into 5 years into worship leading and even 10 years into worship leading if we aren't thinking about it. What happens is that our eyes are closed probably 75% of the time that we're leading worship and only open 25% of the time. So I want to ask you the question today: what do you think would happen if we flipped that ratio? What if we had our eyes open for 75% of the time and only closed for at most 25% of the time? What do you think would happen? Well, I think that this improves your worship leading because of three things. The first is this. The first is that when you open your eyes, it removes a barrier. Funny enough, our eyelids, which are less than 1 millimeter thick, can be one of the biggest barriers between us and the people that we're leading. Think of the beginning of this video, which I haven't addressed yet, and you're probably wondering, that was kind of weird, right? Because his eyes were closed at the beginning. That was awkward. I wasn't connecting with you. I wasn't looking at you like I am now. And the truth is, that's what it feels like whenever you're leading your church on Sunday and your eyes are closed the entire time. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I've stepped into a speaking transition, and I realized halfway through I'm talking to my church, but my eyes are closed right now. And then I open my eyes. You lose out on that connection because when you look at people, you connect with them, which moves us into our second point. So now we've removed the barrier because that less than 1 millimeter thick barrier is gone when our eyes are open. And now the second reason that it improves our worship leading is that we are actually able to connect with people. And that's what we want to do as we're leading worship. Obviously, we want to connect with God, but we also want to connect with other people as we're leading them. So opening your eyes allows you to do that. It allows you to connect with the people that you're leading. And then the third thing, and this is really the most important and sort of the biggest way that it improves your worship leading, to lead with your eyes open, is that having your eyes open, we've removed that barrier. Now we're connecting with people. When your eyes are open, the last thing that it allows you to do is to gauge the room. And that's what we should be doing as worship leaders, as leaders who are leading people in a certain direction. We want to see where they're at. We want to gauge the room and determine, okay, this is where they're at. This is where we're going. What do I need to do to get them there? And you can't do that if your eyes are closed. If your eyes are closed the entire time you're leading worship, then you're just guessing where you're leading people. But once you open your eyes and you see maybe that people are checked out and they aren't really interested, maybe you realize, okay, I need to take a step back here, find a spot in the song where I can just let it breathe and maybe speak into them and let them know why we're doing what we're doing and lead them in a moment. Or the other side of that is you might look out and people are like super into a specific line that you're singing, so you want to repeat it again. You miss out on these decisions if your eyes aren't open. We want to gauge the room and lead from there, lead accordingly. Now, how do we actually implement this? And there's really two ways to do it. How do you learn to lead with your eyes open? The first is this: you don't want to start practicing it just whenever you're leading on a Sunday morning or whenever you're leading worship. You want to practice it at rehearsal. So next time you run through your songs, even if you're just sitting in your bedroom at home, but if it's a worship team rehearsal on a Thursday night or whenever you have worship team rehearsal, think about keeping your eyes open, because we settle into that comfortability of having our eyes closed, especially when there's nobody in the room. Like, it's kind of awkward to be looking out at empty seats whenever you're rehearsing your songs, but practice keeping your eyes open. As you're running through whatever you're singing or whatever you're playing, practice keeping your eyes open. And whenever you're doing that on a Thursday night, try keeping your eyes open for like 100% of the time and just see if you can do it, because that's where you set the habits that come into play whenever you're actually leading people in worship on Sunday. Now, the other part of that, after you've practiced it at rehearsal, is to actually consciously think about it while you're leading worship. I know that whenever you're leading worship, your mind isn't always where it should be, right? So one of the ways we can refocus, because you know how you can be singing a song for like the whole time and then you realize I was thinking about something completely different. What if you shift those thoughts towards thoughts that actually help you lead worship better? And one of the things that you can do is think and ask yourself the question, are my eyes open right now? And if they aren't, open your eyes. So next time you lead worship, consciously think about it and just try it. Maybe it doesn't work for you, but I think that it's going to drastically improve your worship leading. To keep your eyes open at least 75% of the time, maybe more. Obviously, there are those times where you want to step back from the microphone and just model worship with your eyes closed, just you connecting with God. But as leaders of the people, we need to be seeing the people that we're leading. That's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Once again, my name is Spencer Cormany from leadingworshipwell.com. Go follow me on Instagram or Facebook at leadingworshipwell, where I'm posting new worship leading tips every single day. Thanks for joining me, guys. Keep leading worship well.